Today I thought I would share with you how I do my weekly reset routine. It's something that I do every Sunday, usually only takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, just kind of depends on what's going on in my life. But essentially what it is I just kind of look at my calendar to see what's coming up, to kind of refresh myself. And then I also will block out certain things within my calendar so that way nothing falls between the cracks, review any upcoming tasks, and that's essentially it. So I'm going to show you using the app that I use, which is Akiflow. It's basically a calendar app mixed with to-do items. Now, you don't have to do this within Akiflow itself. This could be done in any sort of system. It's just a really good habit to be able to, one day out of the week, kind of just review things, kind of see where you're at, see what's coming ahead. Otherwise, at least in my life, if I weren't to do this, something bad could happen. Like maybe I forget to pick up my kid or something from school. And so this isn't anything you have to do on Sunday. Sometimes I will do it on a Friday or Saturday. Once again, kind of just depends on what's going on in my life. But most of the time, I'll do it on Sundays, usually like late afternoon. Sometime after lunchtime is when I'll usually do this. But what I do is I have a recurring time slot on my calendar every Sunday around this time. Sometimes I will move it, depending on when I'm going to actually tackle it. But what I'll do is, whenever that time slot comes up, I will go over here. And this is something unique to Akiflow itself because you can have to-do items within a calendar. So what I'll do is I'll click on the calendar and then hit the F button, and that will put just that focus block within the task list area. This is everything that I have scheduled, although everything is actually recurring for the most part. These are from Todoist. They are still recurring. They just don't have this recurring icon because these are built in within Akiflow. I won't dive into all that, but basically Akiflow allows for integrations like Todoist, Notion, stuff like that. And so I kind of just mix the two basically. Mix the three. And so what I do is I have... once again, this is going to be specific to Akiflow, but over here I've got a routines folder that contains routine type of projects. And I have right here a weekly review project. The reason I do that is because I just find it much more useful to have these certain things just in its own project rather than kind of being in other projects, because these are essentially different areas of my life, but they are kind of like planning sort of items basically. And so instead of applying them to different areas and then having them mixed in there, I just put it all into one folder that's called my weekly review or weekly planning. I just like that separation. So what I do calendar wise, and I don't have any particular order, just kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for that day. But I'll just start from the top. So I work for a company. They hire me to do photography for them. However, I need to make sure that I'm updating my availability within their system so that they know whether I'm available or not. Otherwise, if I don't update this every week, there could be a chance where they book me for an event and turns out I'm not available, and that's on me. And so just to prevent that from happening, I add that to my weekly planning session just to review my calendar, see what's coming up in the coming months. And then I review both my calendar, my wife's calendar, and my son's calendar. And so I'll go through those, kind of look through within here. It's got a month view, but typically I'll just go by week view and just kind of go one by one, kind of just like going through and just kind of seeing if there's anything that I need to block off on that company's availability calendar. So I'll go ahead and do that. Another thing that I do is I block off calendar time slots or events, whatever, for dropping off and picking up my son from school. There are certain days where I need to do it because my wife can't, and vice versa. And so I want to make sure that I'm putting it on my calendar so that way I know to be a good father and make sure that I'm remembering to pick him up. Otherwise, it'll just kind of just be like, oh, ADHD kicked in. But I'll go through, same thing. I'll just hit the W and then go through the upcoming week and just kind of block in when I know I'm going to need to pick him up. I usually like to use the car emoji, and then I'll do pick up son and just kind of add that in there. And yeah, just go and do that. And then same thing for in the evening time when he's out of school, when to pick him up. I'll do all that, compare it once again to my wife's calendar. I have certain calendars as well as hers blocked off, just so that way I don't have to blur too much out later on. But within Akiflow, you can toggle on and off calendars right over here in calendar visibility. So I'll go ahead and do that. The other thing that I'll do is I'll look once again at the upcoming week to see what I have commitment wise, and then look at my wife's schedule and my son's schedule, and block off any dates that I don't want my own photography clients to book. So I give my photography clients access to book a meeting with me whenever they have questions, or sometimes I actually request that they schedule a meeting with me to go over certain things, and they're able to look at my availability and then schedule in a time. I give them a link, they have it always, and so if I don't go in and update my availability, they'll, same thing with the other company, be able to book in a time. And if I am picking up my son at the exact same time, or something like that, then that, once again, that's on me and it makes me look bad. And so same thing, I just kind of go through and look at my calendar, see what all is going on. And for me, I use, well, I guess for the photography clients, I use a service called TidyCal, which is essentially an alternative to Calendly. The great thing about it is it's a one-time fee, and I think it was maybe $30. And I don't have to pay monthly. It's just once up front, and it has all the exact same features as Calendly. Now, Akiflow also has an availability function within here. They have a share availability. You can create custom links with like certain availabilities already, or you can actually go in and create like a one-time thing and just pick out when you're going to be available, and then it will create a link for you, or you can like save and copy it. You can also do this by creating a recurring one as well. The reason I don't use this for my photography clients is honestly because on my website I have hidden pages that are strictly just client access, and on those pages I have information as well as an embedded availability calendar from TidyCal. So that's the only difference, is TidyCal has the ability to embed the availability whatever widget on a website. If Akiflow winds up giving me that function to embed their availability I would just wind up swapping out just to make things easier. That way I'm just having to only really use this app. But either way, it's really not that bad. I just wanted to mention that in case the TidyCal thing, just in case if you aren't an Akiflow user and you use Calendly, but are, you're tired of paying the subscription, give TidyCal a look, because it's all the same functions and it's just like a one-time fee. And so what I'll do is like, for instance, like on this day, I have blocked for rest. What I have is a calendar in Google just called availability. And so what I'll do is I'll just go through my week. And if it's a day that I need to block off, I just don't want people to book, I'll add it to the availability calendar. I like to put, I'm very big on emojis. So I'll put this like little pin icon, and then I'll put a blocked for, and then the reason I'm blocking it, just as a reminder to myself. Because in the past, before I started doing it like this, I would just put blocked off, and sometimes it was like something happened and it was okay for me to remove that block, but I would forget because I didn't know why that block was there, and I was like, I don't want to remove it. I was just too scared to do it. And so I started doing it, like just blocking off why I'm doing it. So that way, as I'm doing my reviews, if I notice like a conflict as to why it's being blocked, but I don't see it within the other calendars in my calendar, wife's or son's, I can just go ahead and remove it. So like this coming Sunday, I'm blocking for rest because the day before I'm photographing a wedding, and I'm usually pretty tired. I just don't want to have to deal with having a meeting the day after a wedding. But yeah, I will just put the reason I'm blocking it and then add it to my availability calendar, and then make sure that I mark it as busy, and then I just make it an all-day event. So that way it's just up at top. I'm not having to worry about like a time conflict or anything like that. It also looks at like my main event calendar as well. So like maybe I'm not blocking the entire day off, but I do have other events within my calendar. It will book within those time frames that I've said. It's okay to book within this time frame, but if there's something else, it'll schedule around that other event, if that makes sense. So I will do that. I will do that for blocking off my availability to clients. Next up that I do is I will plan out meals. I've done a video on this, but I will go in and look at EveryPlate. It's like a meal service where they send everything to you in a box. And I will go through and pick out about usually 3 meals. And then if I'm going to plan out other meals, I will go into our grocery app and meal plan those meals, as well as put in any additional groceries that we're going to need. So that way, that coming week, usually on Monday, is when I'll go to the grocery store and pick up the groceries that we need for that coming week. So I kind of do this mix of going through EveryPlate, seeing if there's any meals that I want to order through that service, and then do the remaining within our grocery app, AnyList, and plan a day to go get those groceries. Like I said, usually it's on Monday. And then what I'll do is those meals that I've picked out, whether it's for meals that I'm going to cook or meals that my wife is going to cook, I will go in, once again, open up the week view, and then I will start going through and adding a calendar event. This is not when we would be eating dinner, but I'll make an event and I'll put dinner, and then whatever. I can never remember how to spell spaghetti. I think that's it. But I'll put in calendar blocks for whatever we're going to be eating that day, just as a reminder. That way we know we've got a meal plan that day. My wife has access to my calendar, so if it's something that she's planned out for me to cook, she will have put it onto my calendar. And if it's vice versa, I will put that onto her calendar. And it's just a nice way for us to know that we've got meals planned, we see it on the calendar, and we know who all is going to be cooking that week. So that's the like meal planning sort of portion. And then from there, what I'll do is kind of look at my week to kind of see if I've got anything else going on. Maybe I need to move some time slots around of things to work on, but I'll kind of just like do the whole Tetris thing. But I'm just looking at overall things. I'm not planning out everything within each day. I'm just someone that doesn't like to plan out my entire week. I'm just more so about the big rocks rather than the little rocks. And then at the end of every day, usually around somewhere between 3 to 5 or 6 p.m., somewhere within that time frame, I'll pick a time to just look at the next day and see what I've got planned, see what I've got in my inbox, and plan out the next day. So I don't plan out my entire week. I just kind of plan out the big rocks, and then at the end of every day, I will just plan the next day. And I do this every day up until Sunday, when I'm sitting down to do the next planning session for the next coming week, if that makes sense. But yeah, lastly, I will do is I've got planned tasks out for the week. Essentially what I do is I go to the upcoming view in Akiflow. I will go through my task list and kind of plan out a rough estimate. So meaning like I will look through my tasks and be like, I want to do this next week, or I want to do this sometime this week or this month or next month. And that accumulates onto these little lists over here. And I will go through and kind of see, all right, what do I have coming up? And, you know, I'll move things. Like maybe I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do this week, and I'll move it to next week and kind of like do that. I will also go to like this month and move it over to whatever week I'm thinking of kind of doing. I'm going to move that back so that way I don't forget. I don't have a lot in here because we're already coming up to the end of the month, and I've already tackled pretty much what I wanted to this month. But otherwise, there would be like this long list down here, and then I would just kind of figure out and prioritize roughly when I'm going to do those things. So I'm not planning out the exact days, but what I do is come like the end of the day, I've got this list down here where it's just like, these are the things that I plan on doing this week. And I will just go off of this list. So if I've already knocked through everything that I planned out for today, and I've still got some time to work on things, I will just go to my week list and kind of see what I wanted to do that week, and then just start working on those if I can. So that's how I do my daily planning. And overall, I mean, essentially that's really all I do for my weekly planning. It's really not a lot, but it becomes really helpful. If I do miss doing this, there has been times in the past where something has fallen through and I've had to just fess up and be like, I messed up. I'm so sorry, but I can't make this thing. And I hate doing that. It's so embarrassing. And so just having 30 to 45 minutes every single week to sit and plan out the big rocks for the coming week has been so helpful. But I would love to know if you do anything similar, and what you do. If there's anything that maybe I don't do that maybe you think would benefit me or other people, and put it down in the comments. I would love to hear it. But that's it for me today. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe, or consider supporting me over on my Ko-fi. You'll get early access to videos as well as behind the scenes updates. Any little bit helps just keep this channel going and continues to support me. But nonetheless, thank you so much for spending some time here and watching. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.